All right. We're diving deep today. And, I'm excited for this one.
Oh, me too.
Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's a classic, and
It's a big one.
it is a big one. And, you all have sent in some amazing excerpts from the book and some really cool analysis, too. So I think,
Yeah, this is going to be a great deep dive.
yeah, I'm excited. And I think,
Lots to unpack.
yeah, and just a heads up to everyone listening, this book, it's
Mhm.
so much more than just motorcycles.
Right. It's not a how-to manual.
No, no, not at
No,
all.
definitely not.
We're going to be talking about some really big ideas like, the concept of quality.
Yeah, in ways you might not expect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get ready to think about quality in ways you've probably never even thought of before.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this book so fascinating.
Totally.
It takes something seemingly ordinary, like a motorcycle trip.
Right. A father and son on the road.
Yeah, crossing the U.S. on a motorcycle. But it uses that as a springboard for this deep philosophical exploration.
Yeah, the motorcycle becomes this metaphor.
Exactly. It's not just about the physical journey.
Right.
It's about the internal journey, the journey of the mind.
It's about how we approach, I don't know, like any problem in life.
Right, like how we think, how we solve problems, how we see the world.
How we maintain our own, like, internal engine, so to speak.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so universal, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to be a motorcycle enthusiast to get something out of this book.
Or even like a philosophy, major.
Right. It's really about the human experience.
Okay, so speaking of things that are, kind of hard to define, let's talk about quality.
Yes. The big Q.
Yeah, because it's at the heart of this whole book, right?
Absolutely.
And Persick says it's impossible to define, but we all know it when we see it.
Right. It's like, that perfect cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah, or a song that just like hits you right in the feels.
Or a sunset that takes your breath away.
Exactly.
You know it when you experience it, but try putting it into words.
It's tough.
It is.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean it's not real.
And what's so interesting is that Persick doesn't just say that we perceive quality.
He takes it a step further.
He actually says it precedes our understanding.
It's like almost like the foundation of reality itself.
Whoa. So it's not just like a personal preference or a subjective judgment.
Right, it's deeper than that.
He's saying it's woven into the fabric of the universe.
That's a pretty radical idea.
It is. It really challenges how we usually think about things.
Yeah, and it kind of blows my mind every time I think about it.
I know, me too.
It's like he's saying that quality is the bridge between our subjective experience and objective reality.
Which kind of leads us to this whole idea of the classic and the romantic perspectives, right?
Yes. Two ways of seeing the world.
I'll be honest, those terms threw me off a little bit at first.
Yeah, they can be a bit confusing.
Can you break those down for us?
Sure, so the classic perspective, it's all about logic, analysis, breaking things down into their component parts.
It's very, like, scientific, right?
Very analytical, very objective.
Okay, and the romantic,
That's more about intuition, emotion, the big picture.
the feeling, yeah.
Yeah, it's more subjective, more about experiencing the world as a whole.
So, like, art, poetry, music would fall under the romantic?
Exactly. Those are all expressions of the romantic perspective.
And I think we all tend to lean one way or the other, don't we?
Yeah, we all have our preferences.
But what Persick is saying is that we need both.
We need both to
Yeah.
truly understand quality.
It's about finding that balance.
Exactly. And
Mm.
he argues that quality is the point where those two perspectives meet.
Oh, I see.
It's where logic and emotion, analysis and intuition come together.
It's like when you're working on a creative project and you finally get in the zone.
Yeah, the flow state.
Yeah, and it just feels effortless.
And the ideas are flowing. You're not overthinking it.
You're just in the moment.
Exactly. That's a great example of how the classic and the romantic can work together.
So for everyone listening, think about a time when maybe you were struggling with a decision.
Yeah, like your head was telling you one thing, but your heart was telling you something else.
We've all been there.
That's the tension between the classic and the romantic.
And Persick is giving us a way to navigate that tension.
To find that sweet spot where both perspectives can inform our choices.
It's amazing how relevant Persick's ideas about technology feel, even though he wrote this book, like 50 years ago?
I know, right? It's like he was ahead of his time.
He was, totally.
And it's because he wasn't really focused on the technology itself.
Right.
He was more interested in our relationship to technology.
That's so key.
Like how we approach it, how it shapes our thinking.
And he uses motorcycle maintenance as this metaphor for any complex system.
Right, whether it's a machine, a relationship, even our own minds.
There's that great part in the book where he talks about how some people look at a motorcycle and they just see a bunch of parts,
Yeah, a collection of nuts and bolts.
while others see this, like, elegant wholes.
A beautiful machine.
And he's saying that our attitude towards something like technology,
It really shapes our experience of it.
if we approach it with fear or frustration, it's just going to be this source of stress.
Right, another thing to manage.
But if we approach it with curiosity, with respect, a willingness to understand how it works,
Then it could be this amazing tool for creativity and connection.
and even self-discovery,
Absolutely.
which brings us to this whole Zen thing in the title, right?
Yeah, that can be a bit misleading.
Because it's not a straight-up Zen Buddhism book.
Right, it's not a manual or anything.
It's more subtle than that.
But there are definitely Zen influences throughout the book.
Like the emphasis on being present,
Yeah, mindfulness
approaching things with a beginner's mind.
and finding depth in everyday experiences.
Like he talks about how even something as simple as adjusting your motorcycle chain,
Can be this meditative experience.
if you approach it with the right mindset,
It's about being fully present in that moment, in that task.
and ultimately that's what Zen is all about, right?
Exactly. Finding peace and clarity in the present moment.
It's so easy to get caught up in our thoughts, our worries, our to-do lists.
But Pirsig is reminding us to slow down, pay attention.
Appreciate the simple things.
And that's a message that resonates with people from all walks of life.
Whether you're into Zen Buddhism or not.
It's about finding a way to live a more mindful, more meaningful life.
In this book, it's ultimately a journey of self-discovery for Pirsig, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's about him coming to terms with his own path.
From his struggles.
Yeah, his search for meaning and purpose.
And ultimately finding a way to heal and grow.
And he uses the motorcycle as this metaphor for that journey.
It's like, just as we need to maintain our motorcycles to keep them running smoothly,
We need to maintain our own inner workings.
there's that powerful line. I think it's near the end of the book. The real cycle you're working on is a cycle called yourself.
Yeah, that one always hits me.
It's so true. It's like this constant process of self-improvement, of growth and change,
And it's a journey that never really ends.
which is kind of beautiful when you
Yeah.
think about it,
Yeah, there's always something new to discover, something new to learn about ourselves
and about the world around us.
and about quality.
Exactly.
It's like he's saying that to really understand quality, you have to understand yourself.
Yeah, your own internal landscape.
Exactly. And he even challenges this idea that we can separate the self from the world around us.
Oh, like the subject and object.
Yeah, like this classic Western philosophical idea that we're separate from the things we experience.
Like the observer and the observed.
Right. But Pirsig is pushing for a more holistic view.
So everything is interconnected.
Exactly. He's saying our perceptions and experiences are inseparable from who we are, and that the act of perceiving is itself a form of creation.
Wow. I mean, that really ties into his critique of dualistic thinking, right?
Absolutely. This tendency we have to see things in black and white terms, right or wrong, good or bad.
Yeah, like we're always trying to categorize things.
But he's pushing us to see the
The
nuances,
shades of gray.
the interconnectedness of it all. And that's where quality comes in again.
It's not about rigidly defining things.
Right. It's about recognizing the inherent value in everything, even the things we might consider mundane or ordinary.
Which brings us back to that Zen influence we were talking about.
Yeah, that appreciation for the everyday,
The ability to find beauty and meaning in the simple things.
being present in each moment. And speaking of Zen, there's another interesting connection here.
Oh, tell me.
Remember how Pirsig talks about the importance of approaching things with the beginner's mind?
Oh, yeah. That idea of letting go of preconceived notions and approaching things with fresh eyes, like we're seeing them for the first time.
It's a core concept in Zen Buddhism, cultivating that sense of openness and curiosity, allowing yourself to be surprised by what you encounter.
It's about embracing the unknown, right?
Exactly. Isn't there a Zen saying that goes something like, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one.
And Pirsig seems to be suggesting that this beginner's mind, this willingness to let go of our assumptions, is essential for truly experiencing quality.
It's like when we become too rigid in our thinking, too attached to our own limited perspective.
We miss out on the richness and complexity of the world.
Makes you think about how we approach learning in general, you know?
Yeah, are we approaching new information with a genuine sense of curiosity?
Or are we just trying to get to the right answer?
Are we really open to new ideas, or are we just trying to confirm what we already believe?
Take a good question.
And I think the way we approach learning, the way we engage with new information, it really reflects our overall attitude towards life.
This book, it's not just a philosophical treatise, is it?
No, it's more than that.
It's like a guide to living a more mindful and engaged life.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Pirsig is encouraging us to become more conscious, more deliberate in everything we do.
Yeah, like to find that sense of flow, that complete absorption in the task at hand.
Whether we're, fixing a motorcycle or writing a poem or having a difficult conversation,
It's about finding that sweet spot where our skill and challenge meet.
where we lose track of time because we're so immersed in what we're doing.
That's where the real joy is.
The sense of connection and purpose,
Yeah.
being fully present and alive.
And that, I think, is deeply connected to Pirsig's idea of quality.
It's like those moments of flow. Those are moments when we're really experiencing quality.
We're fully engaged, fully alive, fully in tune with ourselves and the world around us.
And it brings us back to the core of Pirsig's message. The real journey is the journey inward.
It's about understanding ourselves, our place in the world, the values that guide our actions.
Cultivating that sense of quality, not just in the things we do, but in the very fabric of our lives.
Living with intention, with care, with a commitment to excellence.
And that sounds like, I don't know, a big task.
It can be, but Pirsig reminds us that it's not about achieving some perfect static state.
Right, it's a process.
A constant cycle of growth and change.
It's a journey we all have to take on our own terms.
But we don't have to do it alone.
Right. We have books like Zen and The Art of Motorcycle Maintenance to guide us along the way.
They offer us new perspectives, new insights.
And maybe most importantly, the inspiration to keep searching for that elusive quality in our own lives.
And I think that's a journey worth taking.
Absolutely. It's been amazing exploring these ideas with you. So much to ponder.
Likewise.
Let's shift gears for a moment and talk about how Pirsig's ideas have resonated with readers over the years. Okay, so we're back and, ready to sort of wrap up our deep dive into Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance.
It's amazing how relevant this book still feels today.
It really is.
Even though it was written decades ago, Pirsig's ideas, they resonate.
Yeah, I think it's because he was grappling with such fundamental questions.
Right. Like, what's the meaning of life?
How do we live a good life?
How do we make sense of the world?
Yeah, and those questions, they never really go away, do they?
No, they're always there lurking in the background.
And we're all still trying to figure it out,
Navigating complex systems.
Trying to find our place.
Yeah, and I think what Pirsig offers isn't necessarily like a set of answers.
Right.
It's more like a framework for thinking.
It's a way of approaching these questions.
Yeah, a way of engaging with life in a more conscious and deliberate way.
And he doesn't tell us what to think.
He just shows us how to think.
Yeah, he challenges us to examine our own assumptions, to question the easy answers.
To embrace the complexity of it all.
And I think that's what makes this book so engaging.
It's not a passive read.
No, it's an invitation to participate, to wrestle with these ideas.
To come to your own conclusions.
It's like he's taking us on this philosophical road trip.
Showing us all these different perspectives.
And possibilities.
And it's up to us to decide which paths we want to explore.
Which ideas resonate with our own experiences.
Exactly. And for me, one of the most enduring takeaways from this book is that idea of cultivating quality.
In everything we do.
Yeah, it's about bringing intentionality, care, attention to detail to every aspect of our lives.
Whether it's fixing a leaky faucet or, writing a report for work or having a conversation with a loved one.
It's about approaching each task, each interaction, with a commitment to excellence.
And I think when we approach life with that mindset, it transforms not just the outcome,
but our own experience as well.
Yeah, we're infusing our actions with meaning and purpose.
We're not just going through the motions.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what would you say is the most important thing for our listeners to take away from this exploration of Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance?
If I had to distill it down to one key takeaway, I'd say it's this. The real journey is the journey inward.
It's about understanding ourselves, our values, our place in the world.
Yeah, it's about cultivating that sense of quality, not just in the things we do,
but in the very fabric of our lives.
It's a journey that each of us has to take on our own.
With courage, curiosity,
and a willingness to embrace the unknown.
That's beautiful. Really, really well said.
Thank you.
And a huge thank you to you for bringing this book to our attention and for sharing your insights with us.
It's been a pleasure, truly.
And to everyone listening, if quality is truly at the root of everything, how might that change the way you approach your work, your relationships, even your hobbies? It's something to think about.
Yeah, let it simmer.
Well, time to hit the road, folks.
Safe travels.
And remember, The most important journey isn't measured in miles, but in the growth and self-discovery we experience along the way.
Keep searching.
Happy reading, everyone!